Beishan studied a century-old cultural beacon. On the banks of the Xiang River in Hunan, China, there stands a century-old study. Beishan study, nestled among towering camphor trees, its red walls and grave tile roofs blend harmoniously with the landscape. The golden characters Beishan study gleam softly in the morning light, marking this place as more than just a library. It is a cultural beacon spanning generations. The birth of the library in the spring of 1920, General Li Moen, a military commander in the Northern Expedition, rode through his hometown's forests when he was drawn to the sound of children reciting classical texts. Following the voices, he saw a group of young students seated in a bamboo grove, earnestly reading records of the Yuyang Tower. This moment awakened a deep connection to his homeland's scholarly traditions. 3 months later, construction began on Beishan study, covering 30 acres, designed by a German architect. Its main hall featured a grand dome, yet its foundation was built with local Xiangxi bluestone. The ornamental ridge beasts adorning the eaves were meticulously handcrafted by artisans from Luoyang. Once completed, Li Moan personally acquired 8,000 volumes of classical texts from Jiangsu and Zhejiang, among which the most precious was a handwritten fragment of discussions on reading the comprehensive mirror by Wang Fuji, a renowned Chinese philosopher. To protect this rare manuscript from decay, he stored it in a specially crafted camphorwood box on the 3rd floor. A beacon in the flames of war yet, this study was destined to be more than a place of learning. It would serve as a guiding light in turbulent times. In the autumn of 1938, candlelight flickered behind the carved glass windows of Beishan's study. By then, it had been transformed into the headquarters of the 9th War Zone's General Staff Office. In the dimly lit room, General Li Jiu, Liu Moen's younger brother, sketched military defense lines on a map. Beside him lay an open volume of The Art of War, where he had scribbled annotations detailing firepower deployment strategies. The following year, during the Battle of Changsha, Beishan study became a temporary field hospital. Its stone floor once held 37 wounded soldiers at the same time. One regimental commander, moments before surgery, reached out with trembling fingers to touch a copy of the complete works of Wen Tianxiang, whispering, "We will win." A legacy that endures. The war eventually ended, yet the story of Beishan study continued to unfold. In 1952, it was converted into a primary school, and once again, the sound of children's reading filled the air. Decades later, during renovations, workers discovered 3 metal boxes hidden beneath the floorboards, each containing neatly stacked classical texts. Between the pages, dried mugwort leaves had been carefully placed, an ancient method of preserving books. During a restoration project in the 1980s, workers unearthed a Republic-era brass door knocker from the West Wing engraved with the phrase, "Rather be shattered like jade than remain intact like tile," symbolizing unyielding spirit. Today, inside a multimedia classroom, remnants of history remain. A glass floor reveals the war-scarred terrazzo tiles beneath, and history teachers often point to the bullet marks, saying, "Look, this is a memory from the autumn of 1939. echoes of 100 years as dusk falls. Pathway lights illuminate the memorial corridor beside a beige Anstoli. On a 1935 stone stele, the words, "Uphold the righteous spirit of heaven and earth," glisten with dew, reflecting the city lights beyond the glass walls. This building has witnessed its transformation from a private library to a cultural beacon. It carries knowledge, but more importantly, it carries the weight of history and resilience, even after a century. Beneath its ancient eaves, the echoes of recitation continue to ring, telling the unbroken story of Hunan scholarly tradition.